Okay, quick question, and I need you to actually think about this one. What does self-confidence mean to you? I already know what you said. Something like, believe in yourself. Maybe a quote from some Instagram account with a sunset background. Maybe the image of a guy in a hoodie screaming at a crowd of people who paid $300 to get screamed at. Here's the truth. That advice is completely useless. Like, spectacularly useless. Not because confidence doesn't matter, it absolutely does. But telling someone to just believe in themselves without explaining what that actually means is like handing someone a map that's just a blank piece of paper with the word map on it. Not helpful. So in this video, we're going to break down what self-confidence really is, where it comes from, and what you can start doing right now to build the kind of confidence that doesn't fall apart the second life gets even slightly hard. No fluff, no motivational theater, just what actually works. Here's something almost nobody in the confidence space will tell you, and honestly, it might change how you see everything else in this video. Self-confidence at its core means trusting that you have the knowledge or experience to handle a specific situation. That's it. That's the whole definition. Notice what's missing. No feelings, no affirmations, no positive thinking. Because confidence isn't a feeling, it's a judgment. It's an honest read of your own ability. Which raises a question. If it's not about how you feel, then why do some people lose their confidence the moment someone looks at them wrong? The answer is in a difference most people never hear about. There are two types of confidence, specific confidence and general confidence, and they work completely differently. Get this wrong, and you'll spend years trying to fix the wrong thing. Let me tell you about a mechanic. Not because cars are interesting, but because this mechanic is going to completely change how you think about your own confidence. This person has been fixing engines for 10 years. A car breaks down in front of them, and they don't hesitate. Don't overthink. Their hands just move. That's specific confidence. It came from doing the same thing over and over in one specific area. Now here's the part most people completely miss. Put that same mechanic on a stage in front of 100 people and watch what happens. Suddenly, no confidence. Zero. Those skills don't transfer. And this is the key insight that explains why so many people feel stuck. People think confidence in one area automatically moves into others. It doesn't. Specific confidence is earned area by area, through practice, failure, and feedback. There's no shortcut. But, and this is worth paying attention to, once you get that, you know exactly where to aim. Sports, coding, drawing, public speaking, cooking, doesn't matter. The confidence always follows the skill. Always. Which raises an interesting question. What about the confidence that's not tied to any skill at all? So what about the person who walks into a room and just owns it? No special skill, no trophy on the wall, just this relaxed, easy presence that makes everyone want to be around them. Where does that come from? That's general confidence, and it's built differently. It's not a skill. It's how comfortable you are just being around other people, how you carry yourself, how you start conversations, how you handle awkward silences or someone being rude. It's what people mean when they say someone just has it. Here's where it gets interesting. General confidence is also built through experience. But, and this is the part most people miss, it can be sped up with knowledge, even before you've had much experience at all. Think about it. If you've never talked to someone you're attracted to, your brain treats it like a physical threat. Hands sweat, mind goes blank. You forget basic words. That's not a character flaw. That's what happens with zero experience and zero framework. But here's what changes everything. If you understand how conversations actually work, how to start them, how to keep them going, how to make someone feel at ease, then even without much experience, you have a plan to follow. Knowledge fills the gap until experience takes over. That's why some people who read a lot about how social situations work carry themselves differently, even before they've had much practice. The knowledge gives them something to rely on when their brain would otherwise panic. And that brings us to something that looks like confidence from the outside, but is actually its most dangerous fake. Hey, glad you're here. This channel is pretty simple. We talk about things that actually matter, and we try to be as clear about them as possible. No filler, no vague inspiration. If something doesn't have a real use, we leave it out. Alright, back to it. There's a third type I haven't mentioned yet. Pay close attention here, because this is the kind of thing you don't notice until it's already too late. It's called surface level or hollow confidence, and it's built entirely on things outside yourself. Expensive clothes, designer brands, a certain car, the right shoes, things that can be taken away. Let me be clear, there's nothing wrong with looking good. Grooming matters, presentation matters. Studies show that what you wear affects both how you feel and how others see you. That's real. But that's not what this is about. The trap looks like this. Two people go on a date. Person A speaks well, is genuinely funny, asks good questions, and knows how to steer a conversation. His outfit is simple, nothing flashy. Person B is wearing a designer watch, designer shoes, expensive clothes. He looks great on the outside, but there's nothing underneath. He can't hold a real conversation, can't make someone laugh, can't handle an awkward silence. The clothes are doing all the work, and deep down, some part of him knows it. Now imagine person B forgets his watch one morning, just leaves it on the nightstand, and his whole sense of self goes with it. Because what he thought was confidence was never really his. It belonged to the objects. The moment those objects are gone, there's nothing left to stand on. That is the hollow confidence trap. And what makes it truly dangerous is this. Most people who are in it have no idea. They think they're confident, they feel confident, right up until the props are gone. So how do you build real, lasting confidence? 3 things matter most. The first is maturity, and I don't mean age. I mean the ability to make the right call in a tough situation. Maturity looks like knowing when to speak and when to stay quiet. It's picking up the bill without making a big deal of it. It's staying calm when someone tries to get a reaction out of you. It's saying you were wrong when you were wrong. Here's why maturity builds confidence. When you make good calls consistently, you start to trust yourself. And that trust, that sense of, I've handled hard situations before, I can handle this one, is the foundation of real confidence. Mature people carry themselves differently. Not arrogant, not nervous, just settled. Like they're not trying to prove anything because they don't need to. Maturity is a big topic and we'll give it a full video. But the starting point is simple. Practice making decisions on purpose instead of just reacting. Pause before you respond. Think about what the situation actually needs, not just what feels good in the moment. The second booster is humor. And this one needs to be handled carefully, because bad humor can wreck your confidence faster than almost anything else. Done right, humor is one of the most powerful social tools out there. It shows intelligence, it creates connection, and it makes people enjoy being around you. Here's the key rule. Humor depends on context. Situation 1. You're with close friends who know you. The energy is relaxed. You make a sharp joke, everyone laughs, and the conversation lights up. Perfect. This is what humor is for. Situation 2. You're in a mixed group. Some people know you, some don't. You make the exact same joke. But now someone takes it the wrong way, things get tense, and you've made a problem instead of a connection. The joke didn't change, the context did. The most confident people aren't the funniest in every room. They're the ones who know when and how to use humor to bring people together, not to show off or get attention. If you want to build your sense of humor, study comedians. Not to copy their jokes, but to understand the structure, timing, breaking expectations, being specific. The best humor is almost always specific, not generic. The third booster, and probably the most important, is being able to hold a real conversation. Most people think conversation is just sharing information. It's not. It's a real back and forth. You're reading the other person, adjusting as you go, knowing when to push and when to pull back. Here's what weak conversation looks like. Hey, how are you? Fine. Silence. Nothing was shared. Nobody felt anything. That interaction left both people feeling worse, not better. Strong conversation does 2 things. It creates real interest and it moves. It goes somewhere. It has energy. Let me show you what I mean. 2 ways to start a conversation with someone you just met. Option A. So where are you from? Option B. I was just telling someone earlier that this city has the strangest energy at night. Have you noticed that? Option A is fine. Option B creates curiosity, invites a real opinion, and already makes you more interesting. The difference isn't confidence, it's preparation. It's having thought about how conversations work before you're standing in one. 3 things to practice. First, ask questions that can't be answered with yes or no. Second, actually listen. Most people are planning their next thing to say instead of hearing what's being said. Third, follow threads. If someone mentions something interesting, go deeper instead of moving on. Conversation is a skill. It's learnable. And every confident person you've ever looked up to was practicing this long before it looked natural. One more thing on conversation, starting it. The most common openers are the worst ones. How's the weather? What did you do today? They're safe, predictable, and forgettable. The best openers are unexpected. They make someone stop, look at you, and think, okay, that's different. They can be observational, a little absurd, or just genuinely curious. The goal isn't to impress. It's to break the autopilot that most conversations run on. When you break that autopilot, you've already set yourself apart from 90% of the interactions that person has had that day. That's where real conversations begin. There's one last thing I want to mention before we wrap up, and it's something most confidence content completely ignores. But honestly, this might be the most freeing thing in this entire video. Your environment shapes your confidence more than almost anything else. The city or country you grew up in. Whether your family encouraged you to speak your mind, or made you feel like your voice wasn't welcome. The school you went to, and whether the people around you lifted each other up or tore each other down, none of that is your fault. Let that land for a second. None of it is your fault. But here's the good news. Once you see it, it becomes your job to change it. And that's actually a gift, because having that job means you have power over it. If you grew up in a place that told you to stay small, to not take up space, to not speak unless spoken to, that mindset runs deep. A motivational quote isn't going to touch it. But here's what will. Small actions, done on purpose, repeated over time. That's the real work, and it's work that actually pays off. We only touched the surface today, and there's a lot more to get into. Future videos will go much deeper into maturity, conversation, and how to rebuild confidence after failure, because that one deserves its own video. If this connected with you, subscribe and come back. This channel is for people who want real answers, not just the comfortable ones. You've already taken the first step by being here. See you in the next one.